Hello everyone, welcome to Raising Vibrations, and today we're going to be doing chart of the day, and this is for the 18th and 19th of April 2016. And that picture that you're looking at right now pretty much sums up what I perceive the energy to be at this point in time. It's definitely fascinating to observe how quickly things can change and how fast your reality has to shift into new dynamics, new ways of looking at things when Uranus is involved. And what really inspired me to actually do the chart of the day, apart from, of course, my service to you and my relationship to astrology, was the way that the energies manifest themselves in my life, like how the message comes through to me. And it usually happens with the new moon and full moon articles that I write, where I'll actually have like experience in my life manifest, and then I will have looked at the chart or something and I can clearly see how that's played out, and that message comes through. So today, if we just have a look at that picture over there, it pretty much sums up everything. This swirling vortex of energy that when you interface with it, it looks incredibly overbearing and overpowering. It's like, oh my God, there comes trouble. And if you look at the chart today, I'm just going to quickly point our attention to the fantastic conjunction between Venus, Uranus, and the Sun. Okay, and Venus making its quincunx to the Moon, Uranus making its quincunx to the Moon, and also Uranus and Venus also making its connection towards Jupiter there as well. Okay, so in particular, those symbols is what I'm referring to. The changing of direction in an instant motion where you don't know how it's going to play out. It's just like you're going a certain way and then all of a sudden adjustment change. And then Pluto making its connection towards Venus, and Pluto making its connection towards Uranus as well. Okay, I'm just pointing out some of the astrology here. And then of course our wonderful Mars retrograde, which we'll discuss, and Saturn. So what happened to me today was I was traveling to drop my oldest son at school, and he decided that he didn't want to eat his food take his luncheon, and so I was like, okay, fine, just leave it on the sort of car seat next to me, and I drove back home, and then my partner took my second youngest one to her playgroup experience, and when she got into the car and to travel back, she looked over there and said, "This is like Marlo's food." And I was like, "Yeah, he didn't want it." He says, "Well, I'm going to go drop it off at his place anyway." And because I felt it was important for him to have food, I was like, "Yes, go do that." And on her way to go do that, she finds herself in a car accident, and a very sort of minor one from the point of view of that she didn't really get injured. It was just a sort of bump on the back of the car, which to a certain degree made a significant sort of damage to it, but everybody's okay. And it wasn't, she was completely blindsided by the experience. Now, what makes this dynamic so interesting is the fact that the car itself requires a certain service, and then I need to go and then have the car checked by what is called like MOT in the UK, right? Just like, roadworthy test, etc. And the car is not allowed to actually drive on the roads at this point because it's the date that it needs to be checked has run out. So the interesting dynamic is that if this happens, then we get hit with this large bill from the government and all the types of sort of nasty things that can be imposed on us. And there's this crisis that manifests where if I'd chosen to say, no, don't go give it to him, or if I just put the pair in a different place, or, whatever it is, the dynamic of that experience could have been completely and utterly avoided. But yet this shocking, unexpected experience just manifests itself. And then all the dynamics that are like balancing on this key situation is then just gets crumbled completely, and this storm just starts coming my way of like, now the car has to be fixed over here, but if they trade licenses and all these things, then there's going to be this sort of whole issue that the car was not roadworthy, etc., or at least it wasn't allowed to be on the road. and that it was actually going to be fixed today and then also sent to the place for it to be, it's called like an after check. That's the issue. It was like they were going to check that issue and then say, okay, it's fixed now, you can, you can drive your car again. And this whole thing just collapsed like in an instant. And the unexpected situation that manifested and blew everything apart, and here we're sitting with this like shocking experience, and both of us actually respond to it going, well, this is exciting. At least there's some joy in our lives in comparison to, say, some of the mundane experiences that we've been having over the last week. So it's such a fascinating way of looking at the astrology today, because the Mercury square Pluto, pardon me, not Mercury, but Venus square Pluto, which is this over here. And so there's Pluto Capricorn, and Pluto's also going stationary. So there's this kind of release of tension, because I've been carrying this tension with me for, a week, where I've been trying to fix this issue, and the car cannot be not driven. There are people that need to get to places, and I have this responsibility of making sure that everybody has a car to get to where they need to get to. And the only potential for me to get this car fixed was like maybe 2 weeks in ahead. And, I had to make these decisions like on the fly and quickly. And they were incredibly stressful for me, because there was a lot of responsibility on myself, amongst other things that I'm having to deal with as well. And this whole sort of Pluto, Uranus, Venus experience just shattered it, just like said, okay, enough. And it just blew everything apart and said, okay, now it's easier to pick up the pieces, and at least you're relieved from the tension, which I am, because now there's at least a direction. Whereas before there was just this massive confusion. So what turned out to be a very sort of like shocking Uranus, even Venus, because Venus reflects the nature of how things look, like the aesthetics, the beauty. So this whole shocking experience changed the car's shape in every way. I mean, the back sort of door looks really, really terrible. And from the point of view of, if you define that to be, your car needs to look great or whatever. But you can see how this issue arrived, and then this crisis, this Virgo, Jupiter, North Node, Moon, like stellium there in Virgo, quincunxing there, all these symbols, okay, and making the shocking experience during this crisis. And then what actually comes out of this whole situation is this beautiful Earth trine. Check this out. This Mercury 18 degrees Taurus, Pluto 17 degrees, and this whole connection over here. And there's this kind of stability around the situation. It was very grounding. It definitely set in motion a new direction. And I think that this is what's really key for the elements at this stage. And I'm going to stop babbling about my own personal drama. But what I just explained to you right now was such a profound way of understanding the next energy cycle that we are going to be experiencing for the next, at least 3 months, where there are going to be these unexpected changes that are going to manifest for us. And our sense of groundedness is key. And as we kind of like shift in our awareness to recognizing how things are changing and how things are going to be unexpectedly changing for us as well, the groundedness that we need to attain or keep within ourselves will make us respond, or give us the opportunity to respond to these situations in a way that is secure. Like, okay, great, this is what happened, so this is how I'm going to deal with it. And there's nothing else that I can do in the situation other than accept my personal limitations, and I'll just go forward. Whereas a lot of the time we can become very sort of watery about the situation, or very air orientated about the situation, and feel like we're losing control or it's out of our hands. So the key here, especially with Mars going retrograde, or as it is retrograde at this point in time and now going to be going that way, is our need for re-looking at things and reshaping them to become even more perfect for what we need to do. So I probably think in my case that there is a possibility that a new car could be coming our way. And it seems like that could be the practical solution. I think that's what I'm really trying to say about the groundedness. Like, what is the most practical way to solve these or respond to these situations that are manifesting in shocking ways? Okay, Uranus and the Venus conjunction, and of course Aries there as well. And the sun's going into Taurus, so it's not like this Earth trine is going to disappear. It's actually going to be with us for quite some time, at least a month. So as I feel that Uranus and Venus make this connection, the Earth trine is going to say, okay, like when the dust settles, what is the most practical way to respond to the situation? How do we interact with things where we're looking at things from a linear perspective that gives us step-by-step ways of doing things so that we feel grounded, we feel secure, we feel stable in what I would consider to be some very, very like changing elements that will be playing out for us. I think that that's a little bit too abstract in what I'm trying to say, but I think with Mars going retrograde, a lot of us are going to feel the energy of things slowing down and needing time to like evolve our relationship to how we feel these energies are going to play out for us. And of course, whatever projects you're trying to do or manifest at this stage, they're going to take some time. But I think that time reflects maturity, time reflects stability. And I think that's what's key here for the next month with regards to our work, okay? So a little bit of an extended chart of the day in terms of the message itself. I really hope that at least my message to you brought some sense of humor, because it did for me. And yeah. All right, guys, have a fantastic week, and I hope to get another chart of the day out for you as soon as possible. Other than that, yeah. Oh, the one thing that I do want to say to you actually was that if you are actually interested in learning about your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant, I have a workshop that I've hosted at this point on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, which I believe is the 20th or something. And then Saturday, the 23rd of April as well, is another workshop. And the details for that is in the description below. And if you look right now, there's a link that will take you there. And if you're interested in knowing what that's about, I'll quickly give you a teaser. The purpose of the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant workshop is to teach you how to understand what the moon sign means in your chart, then the sun sign, and then how does the ascendant serve as a way to make those manifest in your life. Okay, so you're going to understand your sun sign, you're going to understand your moon sign. We're going to put the two together so that you understand what creative self-actualization is. And then you're going to understand your relationship that you have towards your ascendant so that you can be very aligned with what those three symbols are asking for you in this lifetime. Okay, so check that out. I'm really excited to be delivering that information, and there are limited places. I'm only going to work with 6 souls, and because it's a very personal thing. Okay. All right, guys. Fantastic. Speak to you later. Bye.